Alright, welcome back. Tonight, a little late, we're gonna watch hitmaker Frank Dukes. This ain't me, someone else. Getting sampled by Kanye West. I don't know what. I wonder if I know
The
what
first
the
volume of
song is that he
Kingsway
got
that I
sampled in
made was really
when I
just
like
an
hear it.
experiment. I made so many samples at the time, they were for myself, and then
He
I
looks
sort
so
of started
bohemian.
sharing them with my friends who were making beats, so I'd
Bro,
give them
I
to
grow the
producers
same
like Boy
mustache,
Wonder
low key.
and DJ Dahi and Vinyls. But I'd made so much stuff
Vinyls,
that,
who's Vinyls?
I decided to put out a music library.
Is this his peak? This shit's kind of fire.
We get sampled all the time by incredible artists that we never expect to get
A
sampled
library? Yo, he was in Untitled Unmastered? Music library? Okay.
I transitioned from sampling records to making my own samples around the time that I'd sampled this band, the Minahan Street Band, for the song called Talking Codes for 50 Cent. It sampled their song, The Traitor. I'd reached out to the band just because I was a big fan of
I'm not a big 50 Cent fan, but I'm pretty sure that was like a mixtape, right?
their work. Just so you know, love your
Could
music.
100% be
We
wrong.
didn't clear this because nobody got paid. I didn't know it was coming out to the day it came out. Tommy, who is Minahan Street Band is his thing, he told me, he's like, man,
Tommy
that's our
Brennick?
favorite use of any sample that that we've been sampled on, and they'd been sampled by like a whole bunch of people, by Jay-Z, by Kid Cudi, all these people, and they were like, if you're ever in New York, just come by our studio.
He looks like he makes fire shit. Just vibing right now.
I'd played instruments earlier in my life, but hadn't really incorporated it so much into my production. And I would just, get a peer into their process. They were making these records that sounded like the records I loved, these classic sounding records, that were really rich in texture.
Every time I like hear musicians or people that like play instruments, I just think of that one Kanye meme where he's like, I can see sound. Synesthesia, man. Then someone like made it into a song by like Tame Impala.
Kind of got me back into
Shit's
playing
amazing.
and writing music and just
I
being
can
around
see
them.
sounds.
How to record and how to make things sound the way I wanted them to sound, and it was really that opened up, this whole idea of making samples for. At the time, it was just for myself to sample. I remember when I was making samples at the beginning, vinyl heads and diggers or whatever. Oh, like, this is too easy. Back in my day, we had to dig for our samples. Or
That's
whatever.
crazy, bro.
To see someone like Madlib, who is one of the most revered crate digging producers.
Yeah, that'd be kind of go
for
fucking
him to
stupid.
embrace the evolution of crate digging as well by sampling Kingsway. I'd grown up on
That shit was
music.
nasty,
He's
bro.
a huge
Oh my god.
inspiration. I'm good friends with his his then manager, Egon.
I've been to like a few like music shops where they just straight up sell vinyls, like I guess a vinyl store, and the amount of people like just head down, fucking looking through that shit, combing it through, not even like they gotta like know exactly what they're looking for. They like have to be like looking for something, because like there's no way you can just like test out what that sound is. But there's also some of them that are just like digging through that whole thing and then picking out like, oh, I think I've heard of this band from before, or this band looks kind of dope because they got like a dope cover art, and I'm just gonna buy this one.
Who had reached out
And they make some crazy ass shit that you never even think of. Like Tyler the Creator does that shit all the time.
I was, surprised and excited. I didn't even know he knew about the Kingsway Music Library, and Egon was just like, nah, like, Madlib, like,
Bro, his name's
fucks with you,
Egon.
bro. He like loves the music library. That one was super cool to get, acknowledged by, one of my heroes.
See these fucking B-rolls that they're playing right now?
The abundance of samples that exist nowadays is so vast that you actually do have to dig to find the samples that you want.
His voice just
the
changed.
future samples happening right now.
What
you
just
know, I
happened?
think
My
there's
ears
been
are tweaking?
a huge evolution, a huge jump in the evolution. Of
Why
sampling.
why did his voice
Companies like
change like that?
Tracklib that are sort of rethinking the clearance process and simplifying it and making it
I thought it
to
was
the
like a
model
fucking
of
start of
the
a song.
you know, the new sample marketplace. Taking old samples and making them just as easy to clear is also like a huge leap forward in sampling. You know, you can sample something and know it's going to get cleared and used.
It sounded like a
I
Drake
had
beat, low
actually
key.
had a couple major label placements at the time where the sample couldn't be cleared or we couldn't track down.
Bro, did his fucking voice change again? Jesus. Are you
the
using a
owner
different
of the
camera?
sample
This
and
camera looked the
song
same.
Couldn't come out as a result of it. Sometimes the
Was that a
ownership
back
of
end?
these
Like a back end
samples and the publishing
voiceover?
is so convoluted and complicated.
Or this
that
is the
people who
voiceover?
think
Sounds
they
better?
own it, don't even own it, or you know, there's sometimes it's just a big mess. One of the early ones I made in my studio
What'd I
that I
say,
used
bro?
to share with Bad
Yeah,
Bad
that
Not
shit
Good.
sound like fucking Drake. Like some
Chester
Drake
from
shit.
the band had played bass and organ on it. Yeah, I'd sent it to Wanda, and the sample was this sort of 3-minute elaborate piece
This is
that had all these
his?
changes.
Damn,
and he
bro.
had taken just the first
Goes 0 to
second,
100, bro.
not even a second, and just looped it over and over. And it reminded me of like an old RZA record, like a
1 second of this dude's shit, and he made a whole different beat off of it?
A few months later, like snippets of Drake playing this unreleased song.
Bro, Kanye West, I know he just said Boy Wonder, but Kanye West started this shit, like sampling from old shit and just remaking it into a beat instead of making your own beat from like your own instruments and like trying to make your own sound and just resampling it and making sampling in its own art form, and people like picked it up so well, and people are just making the craziest shit now.
Was popping up.
Of course, sampling was like before, but he really popularized that shit.
It was really the first hit record that I had, a real hit. It was the start of this whole run of songs that me and Wanda did for him together. Very life-changing.
Diamond, bro, pop. Oh
the beginning
my
was about
god,
making
bro, those are
samples that
all the
sounded like
shit that he got
samples.
sampled on.
Initially, I was
bangers.
just making stuff that I would take and chop up and
Classics.
manipulate and do all sorts of crazy stuff too. And I think that like as the Kingsways progress, they kind of evolve past that and become.
I mean, Marquis wanna shut down, man. Anytime I like see Drake, that's what pops up in my head. I mean,
like
I remember the Marquis wanna shut down,
you know,
eh?
it's not necessarily writing samples. They're almost
Yo,
like
no.
ideas. For Immortal, for J. Cole, I think I'd, you know, sent the sample directly to Cardiac at the time.
Oh my god, the loop. It's like dragged out.
With a pocket full of hope, screaming,
I think he had the sample in his possession for like 2 or 3 years. Kind of just goes to show.
Everybody hates For Your Eyes Only, but honestly, that album wasn't for everyone. You know, that album's good.
You know, if you're
You gotta give it a few listens.
If you're just making shit and not following the trends, it's like your music can be used at any time. Someone might catch inspiration from it. You know, if you're following trends or copying what the hottest producer is doing, you might have a couple months, and then that beat is kind of irrelevant. If you're doing something that no one else is doing, that's gonna serve you.
Ass shot, dude.
The sample for Real Friends, I made it.
Real
with
Friends.
No,
How many others?
expectation for anything. Wanda hit me.
Fire.
He was just like, "Yo, Kanye just recorded on this shit. It's super dope." At that time, working with Kanye was something I really wanted to do. He's, a huge inspiration to me. I think it might have been one of the first songs he dropped from Life of Pablo. On the final version, Havoc from Mobb Deep had also worked on
Saying
the
so many
drums.
names, bro. I don't know any of these people.
A huge, inspiration and hero of mine, man. I grew up on Mobb Deep. It's a super underrated producer that's name doesn't get mentioned enough, and he made so many great things. I decided to put the Kingsway Music Library on Tracklib because I felt like, they were you know, leading a different charge in the evolution of sampling. You know, I just felt like the ethos were really aligned with Kingsway. Two individual parties innovating on their own and coming together to, you know, do something new.
So this is
I think
like a collab video.
It's an exciting thing.
Damn, that dude really made some fucking bangers, man. So this is basically just them trying to sell this Tracklib and trying to get people to sample his shit more. I fuck with the hustle. That shit is fire. All right, I'm about to start rapping. All right, I'll see you guys later.